It finally came back to bite us in the ass. Failure to win on the road is ultimately what cost us the series. Whatever I talk about with this Game 7 Hurricane review doesn't matter, really, at the end of the day, because all of it comes down to not winning on the road. Just, it didn't matter how we lost. Game 3, we were the better team. You don't win on the road. You don't win a series. You don't win a cup, with a few exceptions. But they just couldn't do it. You win game 3, where you played better, or show up in game 4, make it a contest. Don't know what happens. You potentially win the series in 5. And instead, we're losing in 7. Game 6 was the only game I think goaltending is what cost us the game. So I'm not gonna harp on the fact that we didn't win game 6 as much. But yeah, looking at the series, we lost on the road. We didn't lose in this game. However, this game, it was special teams. I mean, it really comes down to it. They were down 2-0. They ended up scoring 2 goals in garbage time. I think the fact that everyone had the garbage time attitude of the game rather than trying to be in it and rally the Canes because they got nothing to lose. Or not just the Canes, but like the fact that was considered garbage time when you score another goal, you're back in it. 3-goal game, you never know. Boston did it. And there's a lot of 3-goal game comebacks. I think when Carolina got that goal, they really had a chance to come back into it. But I'll get into what happened right after they scored that first goal, because I really think the goal after that was the real dagger. But honestly, it was special teams. The Canes couldn't score on the special teams. They just couldn't score on Shesterkin this game for a long stretch of hockey. Uh, yeah, it really was like those 2 power play goals, and the Canes could never find their footing back into it. They couldn't get shots on net on scoring chances. Svechnikov, the biggest example, I think Martinook had one, he didn't hit the net. There was a stretch of hockey. The Canes were back in the game. Like, they hadn't scored yet, but they were pushing. They had the momentum. Crowd was getting into it. Martinook can't get a shot on goal on his turnover. And there was another chance I'm blanking on. He couldn't. And then what happens after all passes Svechnikov? Svechnikov can't make it. Kreider goes down and scores. That making it 4-0, and the Canes were back in the game. They couldn't do it. What were the things I said were the key to Carolina getting through the Rangers in round 2? They couldn't get shots. They couldn't get shots through. They needed to win on the road, and their power play needed to show up. None of those 3 things really happened. There was one game the power play showed up, and that was game 5. Other than that, no. There were points where they were getting shots through. I would say probably the first 3 home games, but then in game 7, they couldn't do it. But really, anything could happen in game 7. You had a chance to close out the series, and you failed to win on the road. Again, I hate how repetitive this was. Luckily, the season's over, so this is the last time I fucking have to talk about it for a while. It'll probably come up again. Was the road games. It really is that simple. Now on to the controversial part of this game. The Trouba hit. I don't really know what to say about the Trouba hit. I think if Trouba hadn't have taken out Crosby with the concussion or hit Max Domi straight to the head when he was falling down, I would give him the benefit of the doubt. Do I think the hit is suspendable? No. Do I think it could have been a penalty for roughing? Maybe. However, the fact is, Seth Jarvis had been our best forward all game. And, a lot of times you can win for a player. Carolina just couldn't do that because Svechnikov did not play his best hockey this series straight up. I mean, Svechnikov, I think, is one of our most important players. I still consider him probably our 3rd best player behind Slavin and Aho. Maybe even Teravainen. Teravainen was probably better. So, yeah, But losing a player like Jarvis, who's only 20, which oh god, that puts me down more because there are players younger than me in the NHL. But losing player like Jarvis does hurt in that period. And then Ronta gets hurt. I don't blame Kochetkov. He came in cold. I could rant, be like, oh, come on, he had to make a save. He let in a weak goal again. I get it. You're coming in cold. You got to get into the game. He's young, and I don't even blame Ronta for getting hurt. Ronta, I think, had been fighting hurt for like 3 games now. If you watch, I pointed out, he was not sliding the same way. I think it finally just caught up with him. So I think Ronta was playing hurt. I want to give props to Ronta for playing hurt. But yeah, back to the Seth Jarvis hit. So I don't think the hit was dirty. I don't think it was done, or I think the hit could argue it was dirty. I wouldn't think it was done with malicious intent if there wasn't a hit on Crosby and Max Domi. And I think hits like that are why the instigator penalty should be in place. Because look, here's the thing: the game is now at 15, 18 miles per hour on average. I'd say Connor McDavid's 25, but generally speaking, players can probably go 15 to 20 miles per hour now. It is impossible at that speed to always be able to lay a perfect shoulder on shoulder hit. I did see one person say that hockey should be no contact. No, just flat out no. Don't do USA hockey. But yeah, like the fact is in the game, like it's really hard to do. Again, it's Truba, so it's already had 2 hits that I didn't like this series. But yeah, again, it's Truba. Um, but players should be able to discipline that player through their fists. I do think you should be allowed to basically say, "Hey, we do not like that the fact that you're taking runs at our head, so we're going to protect ourselves by fighting you." Because look, I get it. Like, and the instigator penalty, that play shows why the instigator penalty needs to go. Will it be getting rid of? No. Eventually, fighting's probably going to be banned from the NHL at some point, 10 years down the line. It's not going to go the way it should go. It's going to go the other way. I think fighting you should go push like stop pushing back on fighting. Instead, you should push back on hits to the head. I think big hits should always be part of the game. But in regards to the Seth Jarvis hit, it's hard to not be somewhat emotional about it because it's Truba taking another hit that's a little high. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's suspend worthy, which isn't probably going to make me popular among Canes fans, but only like 15 people will probably watch these videos. So, like, yeah. But yeah, now I'm gonna do something positive here. Hurricane of the game, I would maybe give it to Slavin. I thought Slavin had a good hockey game. He made some phenomenal defensive plays, but he gets a lot of criticism for being in the lineup. I think Martinook had a good game. I think Martinook is the perfect fourth liner. You shouldn't be relying on Martinook for more ever, but he is a perfect fourth liner. He got scoring chances. He was pushing, he was hitting, he had energy. So, say what you want about Martinook at times. I really do think Jordan Martinook is a player who is perfect in the fourth line. Should he make the lineup often? Yes, but should you rely on him to ever get points? Play with your star players? No. So let's get that out of the way. I know I wasn't reliable with videos. Will it probably happen again next season because of the 82 game schedule? Absolutely. I mean, I don't make money doing this, so it can't be my full time job. My job comes first, and 82 games is tough. We'll always be back for playoff runs, yes. But I will say, going back to 2018, I might get emotional like this after every time because I really do appreciate what I'm going to be getting into right now. The Carolina Hurricanes hadn't made the playoffs for a decade. I thought we were getting relocated. People at school, the only reason they knew we even had a hockey team was because I would wear the Carolina Hurricanes jersey to school. Like, that was legit. I was the reason people even knew we had a hockey team. So coming in here, Tom Dundon buys the team. I'm happy we had a new owner and everything. And it was an owner who wanted to keep the team in Carolina. Very excited for that because honestly, I didn't. And then, but our GM was the former GM of the Atlanta Thrashers. The only thing I really liked at a certain point was Rod Brindamore as head coach because Brindamore, and that was because I was biased. Brindamore is my all-time favorite player. Coming out of that through good GM moves, amazing coaching by Brindamore, and an ownership who believes in the core, Carolina has now made the playoffs 4 years in a row. And I'd much rather be sitting here talking about Hurricanes playoff runs than be talking about 2015 to 2018, the dark times. So it's just as much as I've criticized certain moves, it's always worth pointing out that just there's 32 teams, only one can win every year. Most of the time, you're going to be sitting here like I am talking about the fact that the Hurricanes didn't win, unless you're Tampa Bay right now, Pittsburgh in the 2010s, I guess, Chicago in the 2010s. Uh, the O's were a wild card. Detroit in the 90s, Pittsburgh in the 90s, or Edmonton, New York Islanders, or Montreal down. So most of the time, you're going to be sitting here like me. But we're a good team. We're a good young team. I am hopeful for the offseason. Will I probably make ranty videos in the offseason questioning moves? Absolutely. Will I get it wrong? Probably. But I just do really appreciate where Carolina is. And I'm just going to say that with a positive note. And now I'm going to try and go into video game land and try and win a Stanley Cup with the Hurricanes there. Because if I don't get to see them there, then, that. And to lighten the mood, I guess, not really. My number two and my number three favorite team are playing each other in the Western Conference Final. So at least I have that to enjoy. Will I make daily videos for the Stanley Cup Finals? I don't know. I'm so devastated after this. I might need a break from watching actual hockey for a couple days at least. Yeah, but it's been a wild ride. There was certain allegations against an organization. Kyle Beach is a hero. Just gonna throw that out there. I would end my videos off with that. But yeah, I'll see you guys for the off season. And Hurricanes hockey will be back in October. And given how young of a team we have, the rest of the league still needs to watch out for us.